It's oft times I dream of returning to my home in the Emerald Isle, where peace and contentment abounding and laughter was heard all the while. I see once again my companions, and I in their midst I go soon, sharing the dreams of my childhood, near my home at the foot of Slieve Bloom. I'd stroll once again through the heather, I gaze on the fast flowing stream, our nature embedded with beauty, more beautiful now in my dream. I hear the clear notes of the fiddle, it plays out a gay lilting tune. There's dancing tonight by the crossroads, near my home at the foot of Slieve Bloom.
Hi, my name is Peter Dooley, and we're here in the townsland of the Glebe, which is just outside Coolrain village in the parish of Commerce. And I'm here today to interview a remarkable woman. Her name is Hannah Dooley. Hannah, it's a pleasure to meet you, Hannah.
Nice to meet you too. Welcome to the Glebe.
And it's a pleasure to be here, Hannah. Hannah, I suppose going back to the start, you're not originally from around here.
No, I'm not originally from here. No, I came from the Wexford Yellow Bellies.
Oh, no, yeah. And that's where you, and what part of Wexford are you from, Hannah?
I came from a place, a townland called Monagarrow, and that means short meadows.
Up near the Wicklow border, is that correct?
Yes, it would be. It would be.
Okay. And Hannah, what sort of, your parents, what were the farmers or were they?
They were farmers, yes, all the live farmers, yes. And I had 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and 2 sisters went overseas, and I remained in the mountain.
Right, okay, okay. And I suppose you grew up on a farm, so you ended up on a farm, so you were well used to farm work from an early age.
Yes, from an early age. There's nothing I can't do as regards farming. I've been it all my life, even going to school.
Right. And when you mentioned school, Hannah, where was your national school? Where did you go to?
National school was in a place called Castletown.
Castletown in Wexford?
Yes, that's right, in Wexford. That's right.
And what was your national school days like, Hannah?
Oh Lord, they were all right, but it was a hard battle to get there and get back because we didn't have any way of travelling as such. We either had to walk or get wet and go to school and dry out as the day went on.
Right. So what distance are you talking about, Hannah?
I'd say about 2.5 miles.
Okay. And did you cycle or walk? You had to walk?
We had to walk.
Okay.
You had to cross the fields.
Right, okay.
You could have fallen into a drain or anything.
Right. And did you enjoy your national school days?
I did. I enjoyed them while I was there.
Right. And you had good teachers?
We had very good teachers, very good. They were, of course, in the classroom at that time you had no heating or anything else like that. You'd only the little bit of a coal fire. The teacher had that.
Right, okay. And what did you got homework and stuff, and you did that when you came home, did you?
Had to come home, and you had to come home and do maybe milk cows before you do it, and do your homework then at the table at night time with a bad light and a little oil lamp.
Little oil lamp, right. And I suppose going on then from Hannah, from your national school days, you went to secondary school. Where did you go to secondary
I went to secondary school in Arklow, the convent of Mercy in Arklow.
All right,
Yeah.
right. And again, I suppose you had to cycle, had you?
I had, yes, cycled there to 7 miles to school, get wet going and dry out coming back.
God, so that was 14 miles altogether.
Yes, yes. Didn't have much spare time because there's always work waiting for you when you went home as well.
Yeah. So God, you were that was tough going, Hannah.
It was, yeah.
So you and your sisters would have done that cycle, would you?
Yes, we would have did it in our turn. We would have did it all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where were your brothers who went to school?
My brothers, they both went to the same national school as I went to myself,
Okay.
and the 2 sisters went to the convent in Arklow as well, and they were younger than I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what were the nuns like in Arklow?
The nuns were nice if you were prepared to learn. Yes, they were all right, but if you weren't, they could be they wouldn't be that nice.
Right. And were you prepared to learn, Hannah? You were?
Well, yes, I was always, they always put me forward for something.
Right.
Yeah.
And a good education, Hannah, in the convent?
Yes, very good, yes, good education there.
Right.
So.
And would you have done your leaving cert there, Hannah? Would you have gone the full term and?
Well, I would have did that in the national.
All right.
Yes,
okay.
in the national, yes.
So, Hannah, just to finish off in the convent, you would have made a lot of, let's say, friends in the convent from local girls from your area. Did you stay in touch down the years?
Well, for so many years, yes. But then they all went their own way and we lost contact. A few of them did remain on all right, but the majority went their own way in different parts.
Okay. So I suppose in all, Hannah, you would have enjoyed your education from national school to secondary.
Yes, I did enjoy it while I was there.
Yes. Yeah. You appreciate it because you had to work hard to get there.
Yes, true.
You didn't take it for granted.
No, you had to toe the line.
And I suppose coming back to your farming background in Wexford, Hannah, what sort of farm had your father and how different was it to farming when you came to Laois?
Well, at that time we had the cows milking and milk going to the creamery and like calving down and that dairy, more or less dairy farming.
Dairy farming, okay. And had you many cows?
Well, we could have had 20 at that time.
20 cows, and they all had to be milked by hand?
Oh, they had to be milked by hand, yes, each one of them.
Morning and evening?
Morning and evening, yes.
And did you sing to them or anything, Hannah?
No.
There was no singing to the cow?
You could get a kick if you did.
from my effort. And had you horses, Hannah?
Yes, we had horses, yes. Horses was the... instead of having tractors, we had all horses, yeah. You used to have to take them out to water them and clean them out and all that kind of thing.
Right. It sounds like, Hannah, you had very little time to play with your brothers and sisters between going to school, being in school, coming home and all the farm work. Had you any time at all to play any games?
You always had something waiting for you. I did an awful lot of outside work with my father, and the other 2 weren't so keen on it. One of them might have been, but the other wasn't, and they'd always avoid it, and I was left then to toe the line.
Right, okay. But nevertheless, you enjoyed it?
I did,
yes,
I did. I loved horses, all right, and that no matter where I went, if the horse was missing, I was gone.
You were gone, that was it. When you left school, Hannah, what did you do?
I worked for a while in Arklow itself for a time. Then I decided I'd travel further afield, so I went to Dublin after that and worked there until I got married.
It was a big move, Hannah, from rural Wexford to urban Dublin city.
Oh, it was. I wouldn't like to have lived my whole life in Dublin.
Right.
Rather the open space.
So it was too enclosed.
Yeah.
And who did you work for in Dublin, Hannah?
JP&M Doyle. They were auctioneers.
Auctioneers. And were you working in an office?
Yes.
Okay, as a clerk or something like that?
Yes, doing clerk work.
Right. Where did you stay in Dublin and where was the work situated?
I stayed in Lansdowne Park.
Okay.
Yeah. Lansdowne Park, that's near Ballsbridge.
Okay, in the posh area of Dublin.
Well, I wonder however, that's where I was anyhow.
And had you digs or a house or?
No, I was in digs for a while with relations of Dennis, God be good to him, and that's how we came in contact.
Okay, and Dennis would have been Hannah's future husband. And Hannah, I suppose, did you come home every weekend or did you stay in Dublin?
No, I didn't come home each weekend, but any weekend that I was available, I did get away from the city. I used to like to get out of it.
And how did you get up from Wexford? On the bus or?
Yeah, bus at that time, yes.
Okay, okay.
No cars at that time.
Right. So Hannah, you started earning a few bob, and you must have started socialising. Where did you go?
Well, we used to go to dances any chance we got, the Metropole or the Clearys or other seven of them, the Crystal. Nearly hit them all.
Nearly hit them all. These are all the ballrooms, they'd be out.
Yes, yes, yeah.
And the Dickie Rock and all these guys are, even before that, they're around.
Well, I've nearly forgotten about them all now at this stage.
And there'd be huge crowds at these functions?
Yes, yes. Big crowds at them, always full houses.
Full houses.
Mm.
And there'd be women on one side and men on the other. Was that the way it was set up, Hannah?
Well, it used to be like when we started out first, yes, that's the way it used to be. The men used to line up on one side and the women on the other side. Okay. But different in Dublin, they'd mixed, you know.
Mixed a bit more, yeah.
Mixed a bit more.
And how often would you go, Hannah? Would it be once a week or more?
That's about all you could afford.
That's all you could afford, yeah. So that was the big, you'd look forward to that during the week?
Yes, yes.
And
I used to join all these Knights of Malta and Red Cross, and that used to take us. We didn't have to pay going to them things.
All right. So there were societies you joined.
Yes.
Okay. And did you make any friends in Dublin?
Yes, quite a lot of friends. Yes, we used to have a good time. All right, yes. But yet I wouldn't like to live on in it.
Right. There was too much of a country girl in
yes.
there. And that brings us to your future husband, Dennis, whom. Would you have met Dennis in Dublin?
I met Dennis in Dublin. That's where his relations I was staying with. That's how we contacted each other.
All right.
And that's how I ended up down here in the Slieve Mountains. Since 1962 I'm here.
Right, okay. And you would have courted in Dublin?
Well, we didn't get to meet that often. Come up for a match or that, or, you know, that kind of thing.
Right, okay.
Not that much, not as much around here.
Right, okay. And when did you get married, Hannah?
I got married in August 1962.
1962.
A few years ago now.
In Wexford or in?
No, I got married in Berkeley Road in Dublin.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
And a big wedding, a small wedding?
Well, it was big enough at that time.
Yeah.
You know, big enough at that time. Yes, there was a good few at it, all right, they came from home and that. It's all right.
Right. So, and did you honeymoon anywhere?
Yes, in England.
Oh, very good.
For a fortnight.
Very good.
So,
what part of England?
No, London.
London? God, that was a nice holiday for 2 weeks.
Well, it was, yeah, but the only holidays I got, I never got any since then.
So, if you'd have known that, you would have read maybe more of it.
It has further.
Right. And after the honeymoon, did you go back to Dublin or did you move down to the Glebe in Coolrain?
Oh, no, I came back here.
You came back
down here, yeah.
Right.
That's where it all started.
So you came back to the Glebe in Coolrain in 1962 to where you have spent most of your life.
Yeah.
So you started
so I'm here ever since.
A new life in the Glebe, just outside Coolrain.
Yeah, that's right.
Hannah, in the early 60s when you came here after getting married to Dinny, coming from Dublin, you were just living on the outskirts of Coolrain, and it would have been a very busy place in the early 60s.
Yes, when I came here, Coolrain was a very good village. It had everything in it. It had a grocery shop, and it had the post office, and it had a telephone outside, and they had petrol pumps and 2 pubs, and also sawmills and a garage as well. Sheeran's and owned the post office and the shop, and then Sheeran's owned one of the pubs as well.
Right. And would say you would have went up to the post office if you had any mail, you would have sent it, and you could have done your shopping at the same time. It must have been a great place to meet people as well, wasn't it?
Oh yes, that was the only place you could meet people, and it was great. Well, like you meet all the neighbours, and that's the only place we could meet them. and they had everything in the shop, grocery and everything, and it was.
Would they have had hardware, farming stuff as well, Hannah?
Well,
Would
we
they?
did have, yes, she did have, yes, men's boots and women's boots and men's clothes and women's clothes, anything you wanted. If they didn't have it, they'd get it for you.
Right. And this is Mrs. Sheeran, old Mrs. Sheeran, was it?
Mrs. Sheeran, yes,
Right.
yes. And then there was sawmills there, of course, as well, run by Canis Sheeran, rest in peace. And it was a busy time, a very busy village at that time.
And across the road, Hannah, you said there was a garage.
Yes, there was a garage across the road, across the road, that was there. It's still there, as a matter of fact. I don't know what to do well, they're doing some work in it still.
Right. Okay. And of course, at night time, you probably hear the cars going down. Maybe not so many of the cars, but down to the two pubs in it, Prescott's and Sheeran's.
Pubs, yeah, but the two they did well in them days. They did well in them days because Sheeran's would be packed out. Monday night, imagine, which is an unusual night, but you'd be packed out. They had music there, and it was packed every Monday night after the weekend. Imagine.
Yeah. So there was loads of money in Coolrain.
Yeah, and Prescott's the same. They used to do well too. Everyone at that time was out drinking, and they must have had money to spend. But that was it.
And of course, there's a Church of Ireland church in Annantrim.
Oh yes, the Church of Ireland. But over there is the graveyard. There is both a mixed graveyard.
It's a mixed graveyard.
Mixed graveyard, yeah. And.
So you would have had Sunday service there, and there would be Church of Ireland funerals.
Oh yes, and there would be Catholic funerals too. There's one part for Catholics as well.
Okay,
yeah.
So they would have come from Camrus, the Catholic funerals.
Around the place. I don't really know. I don't know really where they came from, but around there was a Catholic.
Right, it was a mixed graveyard.
Yeah, mixed anyhow.
Right. So it was a very lively place. Just living on the outskirts, there was a lot of people moving to and fro to the village of Coolrain.
Oh Lord, yes. It was a great village at one time.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the old business died down then a bit, but it's coming back to life again.
Yeah.
It's coming back to life again.
There's no shop or post office there now.
No shop or post office, yeah, but one of the pubs is still there.
Nice.
And doing well at the moment.
Okay. And the post office box, the telephone box, Hannah, that must have been an interesting place.
That was interesting because that's the only place you could make a phone call, and you'd be waiting on someone to come out, and there was one lady used to go with a bag of money, you wouldn't know when she'd come out, and you're waiting to ring EI before a certain time, and she'd have it taken over.
And there'd be a queue maybe outside the telephone box?
Yes, waiting for EI call, make calls in the morning time before that, but it was taken over.
And then at night time you'd have people calling boyfriends or girlfriends whatever.
Or whatever, yes, they'd be busy to use them because the people at that time didn't have phones and such, you know.
Yeah. And when would that have come? Was that here when you came, Hannah, the phone box?
What I see now. I can't remember now whether it was here. I can't remember whether it was here when I came or not.
Right.
I know there's petrol pumps there as well,
Right.
and that, but I don't think the phone box was there when I came. So.
Right. That doesn't matter.
It was telegrams they used to send at that time, you see, because there was no phone, not many phones.
And that would be through the post office?
Through the post office, yeah, they'd have to come with the telegram.
And would you avail of that service, or was that a commonly used service?
Well, it was, it's the only way, you see, you had no phones at that particular time. The only place there would be phones would be in, I suppose, the post office or something like that themselves, but they'd get a telegram to send, if there was an urgent message or that.
Yeah.
That's the only way we could get. Mr. Sheeran used to deliver them.
Right.
And the same way up in Camrus.
So if a telegram came to Mrs. Sheeran's, she would deliver it to your house?
She delivered it, yes.
And would there be a charge on that? Or what way would that work?
No, she used to charge for it.
Right.
No.
Okay.
No, she used to charge for it.
So it'd be part of the post office service?
Yeah.
So delivered.
We forgot, we have a lot more business. Before I came here there was a lot of places here. There was a butcher shop in Coolrain, and there was also a clog factory and the creamery, and that was gone before I came here, of course, but it was there in years gone by.
So you had a butcher's, a creamery and a clog factory?
That's right, yes.
So there would have been a lot of local employment.
Oh yes, there would have been at that time, you know.
Yes.
But there's none of, they are all gone
Yeah.
out of it now, I suppose. They'd have no business in because they wouldn't do business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would have kept a lot of men from going to England, maybe. It
Oh
would have
yes,
kept
yes,
local men in
yes,
the area.
Yeah. I don't. They were there before my time, but sure.
Right, okay.
Mm.
Hannah, when you came here to Glebe in Coolrain, you came from a farm. Your home place was a farm, and you came to a farm, and you've been here all your life. What was the work like in the early days on the farm here in the Glebe?
Yes, when I came here to the Glebe, well, we had those cows, which many a time they were milked on the field with a buck, or many a time they turn over the buck and spill the milk, but you had to put up with that. And we had there were sheep here, and pigs and sows and fowl and everything at that particular time, and we always had a dog here. We wouldn't be without a dog no matter what. So Dennis himself always had a couple of dogs, not one, but he always had a couple of dogs. And we used to, then eventually we had to milk the cows, put in the creamery cans and take it over to the road, and the milk lorry would come and pick it up and take it away for us. He was very helpful, because if you wanted butter or anything in the creamery or a mist in the creamery, he always brought it to you. And
What was his name, Hannah? The milk man?
Jimmy Campton.
Jimmy Campton, right.
Jimmy used to, and the brother used to collect the milk on the stands at the road. We always had to bring it out to the road. Then after a while we came along and we had to get the bulk tanker, which meant that you'd have to have a milking parlour, and the milking parlour, they used to take it out of that, bring it over to the road, and they pump it out of that and take it in.
And it went to Avonmore, I think.
Went to Avonmore, yeah.
Or it went to Donaghmore originally.
Donaghmore,
and then to Avonmore.
Donaghmore, went to Donaghmore.
Right. So Hannah, you would have started with maybe how many cows and finished up in the later days?
I think there was about 8 or 10 when I came here, and then there could have been 15 or onto the 15 or nearly onto the 20 after that. And
right.
so then eventually the boys started to go away, and it was a hard job then left on your own. So we gave it up and went into livestock later years, yeah.
Okay. And in those early years, Hannah, you had sheep as well?
Oh, we had sheep as well, yeah. They were a big handful, they were, because you had to be watching them day and night between foxes and maggots and sheep and everything like that. And in the summertime particularly, when they had their coat on them, there could be, and then it was a big job.
Yeah. You could be up all night, you'd be up all night.
Well, you could be watching, you could stay up all night if you felt like it all right with them, but sure, that didn't always happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And you had cows calving as well, and sows and having bonhams, and it was a busy time.
Busy time.
Busy time.
On top of sheep and cows, I think you had your pigs?
Oh, we had pigs, yeah. There's a pig house behind us.
Right. And had you many pigs, Hannah?
We only kept 2 sows.
2 sows.
Yeah, but then later on, you see that you weren't. People got into it the big way, but we didn't get into at that stage, because when 2 was enough, as many you could handle.
Yeah. And looking at all the hens around here, you kept fowl as well.
Oh, kept fowl and kept turkeys and kept geese and. Kept any living animal that was available.
Yeah. And turkeys, would you rear them for Christmas or?
Well, we did, but they never seemed to do. I never seemed to do well with them, so I had them for a while, but got out of them then. And then the geese used to be given out here. They were too dirty around the place, but sure, I had them for a long time too. Used to keep them and sell them at Christmas time. Right. Of course, at that time it was a novelty to have a goose at Christmas time.
Oh, it was.
But nowadays, you see, your turkeys. You get it any day you want it as well.
It was very posh to have a goose, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
Well, Hannah, it's hard to see how you had any time to rear a family. On top of all that, you had 2 sons, of course, Michael and Pádraig.
Yeah.
Where did you get the time to do anything, Hannah?
Well, I don't know.
Were you in the house at all when all this going on?
Well, it was in and out, I suppose, in and out.
Right.
Yeah, they were small. You could get them anywhere, you know. Michael could leave in the pram all day, sitting in the yard looking at the hens, but the other fella I couldn't. He was a live wire.
He was a live wire. Hannah, in the early days here, would this house have been known as a rambling house?
Yes, it was a rambling house. Even before I came here, you'd say a lot of ramblers called in and that, and they discussed what they'd hear all the local news, whereas there was no papers at that particular time. I suppose you wouldn't get a paper every day, and that's the only way they used to find out. And it used to be, they all called, you know, I mean.
Was there different nights, Hannah, or was there a specific night that they call?
Not really. I don't think so. But in my time they did call in too, because you'd have so many ramblers in and that. But there was a chat and a talk, you know, and
They'd sit around the fire.
around the fire and have the chat, and that was it.
They talk about the local, what
local
went on during the
gossip.
day, or what's going on in the world.
Yes,
Or
what's going on, and you see all the any happenings that went by. You see.
Right. And they talk late into the night, I suppose.
Oh, sure, the code, you know, the code. Usually some good stories told all right in times gone by. But
And these ramblers, Hannah, would they be fed or given tea when they'd call?
oh yes, they always got tea. If there were any matter who came into Dooley's house, they always got tea. Always had to get some refreshments anyhow.
And would there be alcohol on it, or would it just be tea?
I think only tea. I don't think they give them alcohol, not that I know of anyhow.
Right. And there'd be, of course, men in those days, there'd be a lot of, the house would be full of smoke.
Oh
men
Lord, yes,
smoking.
the open fire, you see, and
Yeah,
timber and that, and you cut turf, yeah. Turf fires here, but
right.
well,
Well, you must have cut turf in your day, Hannah.
oh yes, I did many a time. Cut turf since I came here, but there was no turf down in our way. We never all timbers that all we burned down at home. But
In Wexford.
Wexford, yeah. But here, yes, turf was.
Would you cut turf in Windsor Bog? Would it be, Hannah?
Winter bog, yes, cut it, and many times I saved it and that, and by the time you save it and get it home and that, but it was good turf.
Good turf.
Mm.
And would you actually cut the turf with a sleighing, or?
Well, they did years ago. In my husband's time, they did cut it with the sleighing, but then you see they came along with a machine which was quicker than that. But it was a big job turning it and drying it and getting ready for brought home and that. But if you got that far, you got it near bringing home, it wasn't so bad.
Right.
Mm.
And of course, a day, it was literally a full day on the bog. You'd bring tea with you, would you?
Yes, you slow, yeah. Well, if you had a way of bringing up, you bring him up tea, you know, and that. But sometimes before that, they used to make it on the bog themselves, you see.
Right.
With the light a little fire and boil a kettle or whatever.
Okay.
But I never remember, I didn't do it in my time, but
Right.
previous to that I did.
And I suppose it would be a social occasion too on the bog with different people working on, or would it be just you'd work at your own plot and that'd be it?
Well, no. Well, in the early stages, when they were turf, when they cut it themselves with the hand cut,
Yeah.
what do you call it, sleighing or whatever. Yeah. Well, they used to at that time. You see, they used to help one another.
Right. Okay.
But then now you see, present day you don't. You have to look after your own sort of thing. Mm.
And of course, talking about, we'll say, community coming together, we'll say that you would have had corn as well, the thrashing.
Oh yes, the thrashing, yeah, yes, you have the thrashing, but then you'd have to have the dinner ready for the men and their teas ready and all the rest of it. And
That'd be a big.
oh, that'd be a big, yeah.
Big day.
Big day, yeah.
And you'd be busy in the kitchen that day, Hannah.
Oh, that'd be a busy day, yeah, that'd be a busy day, all right. And then when you were drawn in hay, it was another big day. That'd be a day, you know, you see, they didn't always have hay sheds years ago. They you know, just be made without, not in a shed now.
Yeah.
You'd have no shed to put it into, but you used to rick it outside in the what they called, the used to always call it the haggard.
Yeah.
And they'd rick it out there, and they'd have to let it settle down, and then they'd have to go rehead it again and
Yeah.
throw ups, and then it was a big job. But when the corn too as well, they had a big job with that, because you cut that and then you'd have to put it into shave, tied and knotted in shaves.
Yeah.
And that'd be put into stooks,
Right.
and that'd have to be left so long before you brought it in, and that'd be trashed in the thing, and that was a big day.
And also, because there was so few sheds in those days, Hannah, the potatoes would be in pits outside as well.
They were outside the pits, the potatoes, yes, and in the frost, if the frost came, then you had to go to get potatoes out of the thing. Oh Lord, see them all, and the outer ones might get rotted away and that, but
Yeah.
And then the rats would get into them. But you had to pick them out of the pit and the frost and everything. They were never, they weren't brought in as such.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was so few sheds.
A big job, but down in Wexford, you see, they didn't sow them like they sow them here because it's all drills here, you see.
Yeah.
But down in Wexford, they used to call them ridges, and you'd sow 3 potatoes across, 1, 2, 3, you see.
Okay.
And then you'd have to remold them, you see, and that to put the clay up around them.
Right, okay. Of course, better climate in Wexford.
A stronger, heavier soil.
Yeah, better climate.
So that's...
Hannah, there's not too many people in Ireland, never mind Laois, driving a Ford 2600 on a day-to-day basis. I mean, it's a credit to you. And this is a working tractor, and you're a working woman in that tractor. You use this on a daily basis.
I drive this tractor every day. I use it for drawing timber, drawing sticks, drawing stones, and then herding as well. It's very handy for getting up around, particularly if you're if you go to boggy land. But it's handy for herding and all that.
And Hannah, this isn't the first tractor you drove. Can you remember the first tractor you drove?
Oh God, I can't remember. Down in Wexford it could have been. I couldn't, but I can't remember. I don't know I know this one all right, but I don't know the others. They make them, I wouldn't know that.
Right.
I hardly know they're making my own car.
Right. And Hannah, you're involved in the vintage as well. The Commerce Vintage runs in Coolrain. You've been involved. You've done a lot of runs on the tractor, road runs, haven't you?
Yes, I have did a good few of them all right, but I didn't think people knew what age I was.
Well, you may get used to that now, Hannah.
They never knew my age when I started this.
But you're a sort of a mechanical woman. I think you passed that on to your son Pádraig. You're mechanically minded. Tractors don't daunt you.
Oh no, they don't. Yeah, no wonder he's wild.
And you could fix a tractor, could you? If it broke down, you'd have an idea what went wrong with it.
Well, I might, but I wouldn't be great at it. But I might have an idea.
Yeah. And of course, before the tractors, Hannah, in Wexford, there was horses on the farm, and you had a great love for horses and knew a lot about horses.
Well, yes, when they were used a lot in my time. I mean, tractors were few at that stage before when I was down that area. But yes, horses were used for everything at that time. No matter what it was, they used to cut corn with horses. 3 horses it took to go under a binder, and that'd throw out the sheaves, and then they'd have to be stuck. They'd have to be put in stooks and then put together after that, and saved until brought into the haggard at that time. They called it, I don't know what they call it here, into the haggard for trashing, and the trash would come then. So yes, it was used a lot.
And in Wexford, did you ride the horses bareback? Is that true?
Oh, I did. I did many a time.
So you were,
yeah, I was fond of horses. Yeah, I did. I drove them down there too. So I think they made a mistake in me. I don't think I should have been a woman at all.
You were a cowgirl.
I was a cowboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've gone from riding horses bareback to
driving tractors.
To driving tractors, to driving 4 tractors. You've gone the full circle, Hannah.
Yeah, I did a whole round of them now. And so I just don't know how long more I got to do it for.
Right. There's no limit, Hannah. There's no limit.
I suppose you're right. Keep going when you're able. You're not able, that's it.
We're in Hannah's house here in the Glebe, and Hannah, years ago, I'm sure there wasn't electricity. You would have had to work some other way for having light.
Yes. When I came here, there was no electricity whatsoever. There was no fridges or anything like that. But the only thing we used for light was the tilly lamp, which did throw good light at that time, but then there was also an outer lantern outside that you take outside, and the trouble with them was, you see, the globes that was on them were easily broken, and then we had a little hand lamp for going around the kitchen. That was all the light we had, which wasn't great, but sure, it had to do at that particular time.
And would you have used candles, Hannah?
Well, occasionally, but they weren't that safe either, but sure, you had to use them if you had nothing else.
And what was a tilly lamp, Hannah? Could you explain?
Tilly lamp, yes, it just be a lamp, right? There was a little white shade on it inside. No, it was not altogether a shade, if I could say. A little, very frail little thing you'd have to put on, and if that broke, it was very easily broken. You touch it all and go. But when that goes, you see, you'd have to get another one, and then it just be filled with oil. It had to be pumped and pumped for so long. You see, it brightened up the light, brought the light up. But then the ordinary little small lamp was had and put paraffin oil in that, and that were wick in that, right. And that showed there used to be a globe on it as well, and that showed light. But I mean, it had to do at that particular time, because you had nothing else, the light other than that. But then eventually the electricity came, and well, it was great, no doubt about it. It was great when it did come, and not well. It's only after some time that people realised it was very handy, which it was. So things came on from that, so that was that.
Yeah. Mm. And would there have been just one tilly light in the house, or would there have been more?
Well, when I came here there was only one anyway.
One.
That
Right.
just be lit in the evening time, and you'd have to pump to bring on to brighten it up, you see.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
pump it so that would brighten it up. And this little mantle that was on, they called it a mantle, a little white thing, but it was, they were easily broken, but you'd have to have that on them.
Okay.
Just the same.
And we'll say a radio, Hannah, there was obviously no television.
Well,
would you had a radio?
Well, there was a radio here. It was one of these ones with a wet battery or something, but it was all right, but you have to have them batteries refilled so often, you see.
Okay.
And was not known that then eventually when it did come, it was great,
Yeah. And would you listen to the radio at night time, or what would go on?
Well, when it did come, I remember I hadn't left home, and I remember an old man used to call into the house down at home, and he told my father and mother there, he said, you'd see the day, he says, when you can see the newscaster, he says, on the television.
Yeah.
And that was, I suppose, I was only young at that time, which did happen eventually.
Yeah.
Before that, you see, you couldn't see who was the news announcer,
Yeah.
but eventually it did come to pass that you could see him, you see it on the news.
Yeah. And you would have had, the television then would have come, when would you got your first telly, or can you remember?
Well, I can remember it could have been, the lads could have been only about, they were only young when we got the first television. It was, they could have been 10 or 11 by the time we got it. That's as far back as that now.
Yeah. That was a big change too,
That was, yes, it was great, to have it, but sure, very few had them at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
It was great. It was great. That's the only way you got knew anything that was happening at that,
True. Mm-hmm. And we'll say the cooking, Hannah, would have been done over the fire. You had a Stanley fire, you said.
Well, we had a Stanley inside. Well, that was coming into more modern times, you see, but we had the Stanley inside. Used to cook on that. It was very handy. It was good, good heat out of it. It was well filled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no such thing as fridges or anything. It was
no fridges or nothing like that. A little wall box you'd have outside it. You'd hang out, outside it just be hung, you'd have stuff in that, but it kept it, I suppose, it kept it cool outside, that's the only thing. But
keep it cool for a few days, but that would be about it. Yeah.
Mm.
Any meat or anything would have to be
well, you nearly had to be using, you couldn't keep it back. Particularly the summertime. The wintertime wouldn't be too bad, in the summertime now it would be, like flies and that, so.
Hannah, since Dinny passed away, your husband, and your two sons have moved out, you've been living independently here in the Glebe for quite a number of years. How do you find that, Hannah?
Well, I got used to it. I didn't mind. Thank God I'm not afraid of that. I have 2 dogs and they stay in at night time and they're a bodyguard. They're my bodyguards. But I'm very good neighbours. I mean, I'm never stuck in that respect. Right. They're always near at hand no matter what. I mean, and at a very short notice, if there's anything wrong, they'll be down, they'll be with me in that, which is good, and I appreciate what they do. You know, because when the lads are away, they have to go their own way, I suppose. But I do have one of them practically every weekend, and the other fella comes when he can. Of course, he's away too. And they can't be any further away from me. One is in Donegal, and the other's in Cork. So and I'm in between.
Yeah. Michael's in Cork, and Porrick's in Donegal.
Porrick's in Donegal. Yeah. So. That's so all I have then left after they go is the 2 dogs.
Right.
And no matter where I am, you see the dogs, you know I'm about.
Right. And Hannah, but you keep a very active day. I mean, you have a full day's work. I have a full day's work, and the day takes me long enough sometimes. Yes.
And yes, we always had something, and you know, no matter what it is, if it's a wet day, I say I do something inside, and a fine day I'm outside. So that's about it.
And Hannah, coming up to sort of present days, Hannah, you're involved in a couple of local organisations, namely the ICA, the Irish Country Women's Association.
And the Active Retirement and Community Alert.
Very good. Could you maybe speak a little bit on maybe the ICA?
The ICA.
You go on tours and different things?
Well, go on tours, they go on tours, go away for a few days at a time. Every year go somewhere, different place, different place each year, and enjoyable. And well, I can't always go, but sure, the others go and they do have a good time.
Yeah.
And that, so same way with the Active Retirement. They enjoy the bingo on a Sunday once a month afternoon. And we go on outings too in the summertime, the winter time, back to the bingo and that.
Right, and you play bingo yourself, Hannah?
I do, I play it myself.
Right, any luck?
Not at
all.
Well, our open college wouldn't be made up, you wouldn't want to be dependent on it. Maybe if you won a couple of euros, maybe you'd be lucky.
Yeah. And Hannah, you on top of that, you have a sort of a bus, you go to town, you go into town.
Go to town, go to town Mount twice a week, which is great. We do have a good, it's very enjoyable, that trip is, and they go to Portlaoise twice a month.
Right.
And they all enjoy it anyway, they can't drive, it's great for them, you know, and then go to Portlaoise is terribly handy because there's lots of things, there's no drapery shop in Mount Rat for a start, and if you want anything like that, you must go to Portlaoise or somewhere else.
You need the style for your outings.
Well, they enjoy the outings and that. We go on outings too, short outings with the Active Retirement.
Lovely. So, Hannah, I suppose to conclude, you've lived a very interesting life. 90 years of age, coming from the Wicklow-Wexford border to the Midlands of Leith.
Hard to kill a bad thing.
Well, certainly, Hannah, you're a credit. You're a credit to yourself and to all around you. And
of course, I forgot, Peter, that we go to our monthly dance. And we're the only ones in the parish that support a few old ladies.
Oh, very good. There's a bit of a cut there, I think, is there, Hannah?
No, I didn't pick it up, but maybe what I say wrong.
Not a thing. No, I forgot about the community dance.
The community dance,
Once a month on a Friday night, Hannah.
Once a month on a Saturday now, Peter. On a Saturday night now. You say, you don't go, I don't know what night's on.
Hannah, I'm not there yet.
Yeah, we go to that, you see, we get...
Lovely.
We get... well looked after up there and all that. We don't have to go in and queue up for your supper tea at night time. They hand us out to the hatch door, and Father Lawler eats a few old biscuits we get now and again.
Oh, you get well fed. You get well fed up there. You get well fed. Yeah. Well, Hannah, listen, it's been a pleasure, Hannah. A pleasure.
Thanks very much.
An absolute pleasure.
I hear the sweet voice of my mother She kneels by her own settled bed. My brothers and sisters are round her. The family rosary is said. I see once again the old chapel. It echoes the organ's sweet tune. Oh, why did I ever abandon my home at the foot of Slieve bloom? My dreaming of homeland is over. A vision more radiant I see. My God and my mother are waiting with heavenly angels for me. There is one thing I'll ask of my Saviour. Now my life it has come to full bloom. Please God, won't you make me my heaven, near my home at the foot of Slieve bloom. There is one thing I'll ask of my Saviour. Now my life it has come to full bloom. Please God, won't you make me my heaven, near my home at the foot of Slieve bloom.